Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So I'm going to try and explain this for you. She's not a doctor, but she's highly trained in the medical world as a medical professional. She can tell you what's going on with your body. I'm going to loosely use the word diagnose because I'm very careful about that word, but she uses her intuition to tell you what's going on. It's amazing. She's done it for me. I've seen it in action. She's a medical intuitive. And we're going to talk about that and meditation and the impact it can have on you for a better life. Dr. Gloria Warren is with us. Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here too. Thank you.
We've never spoken deeper about this, and I've talked about your credentials in a little more detail. On the medical side, can you give us your resume on the medical side?
I've worked in various areas of medicine, from hospital laboratories to oncology site laboratories and medical assistant, surgical assistant, pharmaceutical research for more than 8.5 years. I've been a researcher. I'm a doctor, have a doctorate in research, medical research, pretty much my whole life. But I'm not just Western medicine. I'm Eastern medicine, herbology, rainforest medicine, Native American medicine. Now I can put under my belt. And I just love medicine and healing throughout the centuries and the historical aspects and how everything's applied.
When you were in the medical field, did you realize that you had that intuition, or was the intuition always kind of floating around out there and then you connected it to the medical side?
Well, I was born and raised with this type of intuition my whole life. I'd pass people on the street as a child even and know what was wrong with them. It runs in the family. My father had amazing gifts, my aunts on his side. And so I thought I was supposed to be a physician. So I took a lot of courses even in college and was going to go along that line, and realized that a physician is very limited to what they can do or what they're allowed to do but legally. So I decided that it wasn't really the right route for me. So I started with my medical intuitive sessions, and it's been very successful for me as far as what I'm able to see and how I can actually help people in general.
Wow. When you say that a doctor is limited, what do you mean?
Well, a doctor basically learns two things. One is how to diagnose, and two, different types of things they can use to apply to those situations. If it is not according to the American Medical Association or the rules and regulations put out by their hierarchy oversight, you know, that's a very dangerous line to step over in their situation. I don't like those lines because I feel that Western medicine is not the end all. Eastern medicine is wonderful, all medicines together. So basically, the Dalai Lama called me the bridge, bridge everything together. And it's a balance. And I think we need Western medicine. You have a broken arm, you have a heart attack, please, by all means, go to the hospital, see the doctor once a year, put things together, let them know what you're doing on the side that is helping you and what isn't helping you, and keep your communication open. So when I do a medical intuition reading, I actually give them a document they can take back to their physician. If the physician wants to call me, they're more than welcome to, and I can discuss it with them. I give a lot of details, medical details, and even blood test results and things like that. So a lot of times I'll get a call from a physician say, how did you know those numbers?
Right.
But it's not just me. And I'm not the only person that can do this. Anyone can learn. It's using a different area of your brain and knowing how to connect to ultra dimensions and different scenarios and see what's there intuitively as well.
Do you feel that, and we're going to get into meditation in just a moment, but do you feel that many times we put doctors and those in that medical profession way up on a pedestal, And maybe we shouldn't. They don't have all the answers, but we look at the, oh, all right, I'll take that medicine. Sure, sure. I'll do exactly without, I don't want to start any controversy here, but that's my feelings that maybe you need to look into it as a patient a little bit deeper before you just, run off to the pharmacy and grab that script. And again, like you said, when you're in a situation like a broken arm or major things going on and you need attention. But short of that, what are your feelings?
Well, centuries ago, when people started to become physicians, they would start a medical practice. And that's exactly what it is. It's a medical practice. So they know they don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers. All you can do is do your best to try and help the patient to the nth degree of which you can. And maybe you refer specialists to perhaps help further along. But all medicine on the Western side is a medical practice, just like the Eastern medicine is a medical practice. Some are better than the rest. Some in the Western medicine are better than some in the Western medicine, and some in the Eastern medicine the same, and any type of medicine that they practice. But it's a medical practice either way.
Hmm. You were very careful about your answer.
Yes, yes,
uh, my wake up was years ago when I went to a new primary doctor. It was all good. And then I saw them on their phone. And I'm looking like, well, what's going up to? They're actually Googling drug interactions.
absolutely. That's what
Yeah,
they do nowadays. They use Google. So, Lord forbid if we get an extreme electromagnetic pulse from a solar flare and it wipes out our electrical grid. They're not training the physicians the same way either.
right.
So I always keep hard copies of everything I need, just in case I need anything for reference. Um, I I'm extra good at some things, and other things I just don't pay much attention to because I haven't had people that I need that information. But if
Right.
something unusual comes up, and no matter what medical practice you're using, it can create huge problems because they're not carrying that information in their minds. They're not making them remember all that information. And
Right.
to me, that's a very delicate situation for
Agreed.
anybody.
Agreed. Uh, we know that meditation is a good thing for us. How good is it?
Well, there's a lot that can be done with meditation through meditation. With medical intuition, I can try to target different areas of meditation that they can do or different types of practices they can do. So what everyone needs to remember is meditation, for the most part, is to reach a state of thoughtless awareness. It's what they call quasi-meditation, quasi-meditative state. So, but there's different ways to achieve that. And when you achieve it, I mean, I can go through those ways, but when you achieve it, it can help you physically with lowering blood pressure to helping heal bones faster. There's so much there that it's just remarkable.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So, there's different types of meditation. I can go into specific names, but I broke it down into types of how to meditate. I think it's more simply than to say, oh, hatha yoga, or, give those type of meditative scenarios because nobody usually remembers those names. So here's mindfulness meditation, which involves focusing on a physical sensation when thoughts impede, and the meditative individual returns to the focus. You can focus on a candle or something of that nature. Then there's breath meditation. This is one of my favorite, just for relaxation, lowering blood pressure. You can count to 10, exhaling, and then take 10 whole seconds trying to inhale in as deep as you can and then release and relax. And then count to like 3 to 5, whatever you feel comfortable with, and then do it again. And this helps to place your mind in a relaxing state, and it changes your brain waves as well. But you need to do it, several times like any other type. There's visualization types of meditation, and that's where staring at the candle or just the flame, just you and the flame, watching it here, looking at it and just analyzing the flame and the lines, and not really with much thought, but the beauty within that. Or even a flower. You can do this in a flower, even a blade of grass. You can do it with almost anything. There's analytical meditation. It involves attempting to comprehend a deeper meaning of an object of focus. So, like looking at that blade of grass and thinking how the cells got put together and how it grew there and what was the creator thinking at the time. You can go on and on about that one. Walking meditation is something that Zen Buddhists do. And I really love this type of meditation. It's walking with count and measure. And sometimes you see people in China, they don't really practice a lot of religions in the open, but you'll see them with walking with their hands behind the back and they're keeping an even pace and they're looking down or whatever. They're probably doing a meditation, but they're just not letting people know, So walking meditation is wonderful because it cures two things at the same time. One, it actually helps with your heart rate and everything else and getting it up. It's an aerobic exercise. You can do a speed walking meditation. You can do a laid back walking meditation. You can combine things like a visual meditation through a park as you slowly walk, keeping count and looking at the beauty around you. There's transcendental meditation as well. That's listening to a sound or a mantra. Like I always say, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, and that type of thing. It helps empower me with medical aspects of what I do, which I like, and I can let my thoughts go. But my favorite's still the walking and the breathing. So,
Can we just
yeah.
before we move on from transcendental? I've heard that term since I was a kid, and I still don't fully understand what it is.
Well, the goal is to reach a state of relaxed awareness. You need to remember that. It can be done many ways, but the mantra, Buddhists will sit in front of a Buddha or even at an altar of nothingness and just repeat whatever mantra they want. You can look up Google. There's different mantras you can say for different purposes. And mantras basically just put your mind in a repetitive state so that it lets go of everything else. It's kind of like, so it can be very relaxing. To me personally, I have a very high brainwave activity, and it goes crazy and just go because I'm a researcher by trade. I can't get enough information. My knowledge base, I just want to expand it more and more and learn more and more to help more and more people. So for me, this is not the type of meditation that works for me, but some people love this meditation. It's known to improve IQs and lower violent tendencies. It can be classified as a religion in itself, but I am not, it was big in the 60s, the Beatles, 50s and 60s. Beatles were huge followers of transcendental meditation, but that's out there for people who would want it. It's something just phrase repeated over and over and over. You can even make up the phrase if you want.
That's almost that's I forget the name. I was a kid at the time, Mahesh Yogi or something like that. That the Beatles or George Harrison.
Maharishi Mahesh, yes.
Thank you. Yeah. And I just remember it, and then I would hear more and see more, and always wondered what it was. Always heard that word meditation. Do you think that we make it too hard on ourselves? Like you
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. People meditate all the time. They just don't know. When you say a small prayer, that's meditation.
Wow.
Yeah. So, oh God, thank you so much. That's a meditative statement. It can be of any religion. Prayer is in every religion. And with gratitude is often makes the meditation at a higher frequency. It's wonderful. But yeah, you go a rosary, that's meditation, something repetitive over and over and over. And it's good. I mean, it helps you mentally, helps you physically. So
even reflecting back, even being younger, when I would see, pictures of monks, video, whatever, and think, oh, that sucks for you. You're just on a mountain. You've nobody around. That's got to be lonely. What a life. I feel bad for you. Now I look at that and I'm like, Oh, that's so wonderful. Look at how great that is. You're in a place where you can block out everything and have thoughts and manifest. And wow, it's amazing how, as life goes on, you reframe, your view of things.
Yep, I used to stare at the fireplace and the fire. I used to lay down by the fireplace and just stare at the flames. And that was my meditative growth when I was a child, 6, 7, 8 years old. I was meditating and didn't even know it at the time. So, yeah.
Even you describing that brings back memories of my aunt and grandmother's house. And right away, I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that right now. Just like,
See, it's calling you.
just like
It is absolutely calling you.
make it all go away and just focus on something. I don't know if I shared this with you, digressing for a moment, but it definitely is in line with staring at the flame. So I had a session. I'm not even sure what kind of session it was with a energy practitioner. It was last fall, and she had me stare at an object, basically one of those spiky, squishy balls,
Yeah.
right? It was like maybe that big on a pole. Just, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
going to stare at that. I'm like, all right, whatever. I did, focused on it, kept focusing. I was transported back to my childhood while doing it. And it was on a Saturday when I was there. And I transported myself back to Saturdays when I was younger, even in my low 20s, where I used to play radio. I would go back to my mom's house and mess around because that's where it was all set up. Um, and it was a happy spot. And I could even hear the music that I played. And then as I'm staring at this object, it took me back to same age where I would be on a track, a high school track. Wasn't even my high school. I would go to another one because I just liked the trees and everything. And I would jog around the track and listen to music. And I could tell you the music that I was listening to on my Walkman. And it was a happy time. I would even jog backwards. Woo, have a great time. Whoa, like back the other way around. But it was staring at that object allowed me to do it. And I swear I felt like I was back then. And my wake up to that was you need to go back to those things that made you happy when you were younger, and life was
Absolutely.
maybe easier. Just so could have been a flame in a fireplace, could have been, a spot on the wall, but intentionally just locking into that low music in the background. It's amazing what the mind can do, how it can bring you back. And I must have been, I guess I was meditating. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was cool. It was real.
Yeah, well, very real, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
you just need to remember you can do that at any time. You could do it on one of your breaks at work. You can do it not in the car driving,
Yeah.
not
Point.
suggested,
Yeah.
but you could do it on an airplane when you're on a long trip. Just, go ahead and meditate, put a little, bring a little statue with you or something and set it there and just, stare at it if that's what it takes, or use something on your phone, picture on your phone. I have several pictures from my Life Connect retreats on my phone that I can look at, and it's color therapy and things of that nature. And it's just, you can find something to look at,
Mm,
even in one of their magazines. Dream about getting that jet plane that they're showing you in
sure.
the
Sure.
concierge.
Well, funny you should say that. I was just on a trip a couple of days ago and I was taking that time. It was wonderful, quiet time. But then we always want to cram things in. Wow, I got some time. I never watch movies. Let me get the tail end of that movie. I was looking again in the hotel. Let me do this. Let me do that. Instead of just stop, focus, reflect, all of that. Funny you should say about the jet. I started doing screenshots of things that I would like in life as manifestation.
Beautiful. I love it.
Why
Keep it
not?
on your phone. Look for the pictures every now and then. You'll
Hey,
manifest all those things.
well, okay. So I want to briefly talk about that. Um, I met somebody that does meditative coaching, and one of the main things that he kind of specializes in his meditation coaching is allowing you to manifest through
Yeah,
meditation. What are your thoughts on that?
it is very possible. I have done it on purposefully done that. You can do it. It's putting your mind into a different space. It's like a deep meditative space, almost ultra dimensional space. And I do it in prayer as well as in meditation. And I just go out there and it seems to just happen. it's like, see, ask and ye shall receive. Even God, Jesus Christ told us that, ask and ye shall receive. And what's interesting is it works, but you just need to know how to ask. And anyone can ask, no matter what religion they are. You just need to know how to take your mind and put it into this other space. And that's just developing an area of your brain or in your mind that you can make it happen when you want to make it happen. So getting in the other space, make that happen. And then you can try to manifest it, visualize it, see the steps it's going to take to get to that, and then go that way. And it's just amazing on how some things are just bam, right in front of you. I could tell you a good story about that, but maybe want to wait till another time.
Sure. Well, sure. And I guess it all comes in line with, what our parents used to tell us: be careful what you ask for.
Right. Yeah, they knew through their religions or whatever, and that's fine. But what you do ask for has a tendency to come your way, and what you focus on has a tendency to come your way. So with all this negativity going throughout the world and everything, you're better to try and focus and manifest the good things,
right,
and the positive things to bring about that light to your own life and the people around you. And even more, I do a meditation once a week, and it's for global peace and everything, and settling things down, taking things down a notch. And I think it does work. When I miss, I notice a big difference.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost as if you're having a bad day. Going to happen. Things are going to happen. How you react to it really kind of dictates what's going to happen ultimately. But you have those people that, I can't believe that happened. What else is going to happen today? Really? This is this is my life. Well, that's the way it's going to be. You asked for that. You asked for more. That was great. Give me more. Yeah. Thank you, sir. May I have another? All right. Here's another,
There you go.
Another challenge piled on top of you. Here's another one, because that's what you were thinking.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
And ask shall receive. So be careful what you ask for.
I'm going to ask you, Gloria, how do we find you? How do we connect with you? This is just a piece of
Very
your
small. I
knowledge
give
and
a whole
insight.
workshop on this.
Wow.
So it's part of the Life Connect retreats that I do. So
Hmm.
just a small part of a big program that people can go to. So, yep.
And
to get
part of the bigger picture is your medical intuition.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So anyways, just to sum up, meditation is good for asthma, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, arterial sclerosis, anxiety, stress, obviously. You can go on. And there are medical studies done on these things that prove that they work. So just a thought. You just got to figure out which one's best for you.
And that's where your expertise can come in, along with helping somebody figure out what's going on with them using your intuition. What's your website?
medicalintuitivegloria.com. And you can reach me at 715-892-6304. Once again, 715-892-6304. Text is best. I will return your call. Text, please.
Always wonderful talking with you. I learned so much. You are so genuine, transparent, just like the background in your,
my yard.
Yeah.
Put that down. My yard.
It's clear and looks wonderful. And so many people put these, backgrounds on. Yeah. There
Simple,
it is.
Clear.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. See you soon.
Yes. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.